This episode of the Boss Rush Podcast is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support our family of podcasts, head over to patreon.com/bossrushmedia or search for us on the Patreon app on your smart device. Thanks for helping us build something better. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Boss Rush Podcast, a great place to play games and be better. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Dirrig, and alongside me, as always, is the PC muscle race himself, LeRon Dawkins.
Hey, what's poppin'?
Hi, LeRon.
Hey, Corey. How's it going?
I missed you. It's been 2 weeks.
Yeah, I missed you too, man. You sound a lot better than the last time we spoke.
Yeah, this is my podcast face. Let me see. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, you look bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Yeah.
You do actually. Yeah.
Also drank half of this Red Bull already. It's fine. Also joining us is the Mad Pharmacist herself, fresh off of PAX, Stephanie Klimov.
Thanks, and I'm also fresh out of Red Bull because I donated it to a guy who had a really bad hangover at PAX, and now I have this many Red Bulls.
Bad decision.
Hi! I miss everybody.
Great. I'm here. I am scared, but I'm here.
You're scared?
It's fine. Look, I am playing
Are you okay?
the first horror game I've played in a very, very, very long time, and I don't know why I agreed to do that.
Because of me!
Yeah, it's your fault. It is your fault, actually. Also joining us, who I know has enjoyed this video game, is none other than the wonderful Greysun Morales.
Hello.
Hello, Greysun.
Hi, Corey. Thanks for having me.
Glad you're here.
Happy to be here. It's been a while. It's been a long time.
It has.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm always glad when you're on one of our shows. You are a fan favorite, according to our Discord, who has questions and lots of hearts emojis and lots of
shucks.
Oh, we love Greysun. He's amazing.
Oh, I gotta join the Discord now.
You do.
People are talking about me. I gotta be there.
You do. So it's a good time. But Greysun, we have a few new listeners, according to Anchor or Spotify for podcasters.
Okay.
Sorry, it's not Anchor anymore. You want to tell people what you do and where you're from, or why you're so important on the internet?
Why I'm so important? Sure. Yeah. So my name is Greysun. I'm currently the lead guides editor at GameRant.com, which is the sister site to Screen Rant and The Gamer and some other sites. Yeah, I've been the lead guides editor since early 2020. God, I'm in mind 2021. So it's been about 2 years now, and I pretty much lead and steer the guide team, covering like any new launches, any big AAA games to like other indie games, whatever we need covered. And I also do a lot of writing and editing and stuff too, of course. Yeah, I mean, I've been on the internet for a long time as like a journalism. I started writing at a small site, like 2011, like 2015, 2016. And then started working at a website called Twinfinite, which is unfortunately undergoing some layoffs right now, which sucks. Yeah, and then went to GameRant. So that's been my path. I'm a very big Nintendo fan. I've owned every single major Nintendo console ever. My favorite games are Nintendo games. Yes, of course. I own a Wii U.
Yeah.
Had a launch day.
Of course, the Wii U.
Of course.
Makes half of us. Did you turn yours on? Is yours bricked?
No, I actually sold it to get a Switch. So, sorry.
Rip.
Yeah. But yeah, that's me pretty much in a nutshell.
Oh.
Yeah. Big Nintendo
My Wii
nerd.
U is still hooked up because Wind Waker is still there. So
I know. Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
That's some other stuff.
Twilight Princess. Xenoblade X. The best Xenoblade game.
Nintendo Land.
In my opinion.
Just really fun, I think. So.
Yeah. Oh boy. Someone's excited. Well, Greysun, we're glad you're here. It's always a pleasure. We do have a question for you from our very own Shane Kelly.
Uh-oh.
Shane asks,
I'm not prepared for this.
hope you're well this evening. What is the easiest and hardest genre of game to write a guide for in your experience?
Oh man, that's a good question. I mean, personally, it's hard for me to write about anything that's like I can't write like build guides for like RPGs and things like that. I usually assign that to other people who like really like to get deep into that stuff. I'm not the type of person when I play games to min max or like try to get the strongest weapons immediately. I just kind of play the game as intended and kind of just let the game carry me and just pick the for weapons I buy that just like increase my power a little bit, but I'm not trying to like achieve the best build, like sorcerer build. Like that kind of stuff I think is really hard to write. And the easiest game to cover, I think, is just like I don't know, maybe like a platformer or like I don't know, like an action RPG or something, or you're just like, or like a horror game, like Resident Evil 4 is like a pretty, I think, easy game to cover because it's just like puzzles and you just have to figure out how to get those puzzles done, but it's not very deep, it's very straightforward. So I guess that's my answer. Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine like a big RPG. I imagine Zelda, the Tears of the Kingdom, is going to be like an incredibly
Yeah, it's
tall task.
yeah, with the different combinations of things. I don't even know I don't even know how to even start. It's just gonna be insane trying everything out. Like having a list of every single food combination, every weapon fusion combination, the best weapon fusion. It's just like, oh god, all this, and people are gonna look up all that stuff. It's wild. Yeah.
Can't wait for Zelda.
Mhm.
So, anyways, Grayson, I already said this, but we're glad you're here to talk about probably some Zelda, I'm sure, probably some PAX, I'm sure, probably some other Resident Evil, I'm sure. If you want to be a Patreon producer, head on over to Patreon, patreon.com/bossrushmedia, and find out which tier is right for you. Our Patreon producers at the $5 tier or higher for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dirrig, Francisco Santillan, and Rebecca Jewell. Thank you for your continued support. So where do we want to jump off at? I mean, Stephanie, you were at PAX. You want to talk about PAX first? Because
Or do you want a short, a middle, or a long version of it? Maybe a middle.
Whatever. Let's see where it goes. Let's see what happens. If we're bored, we'll just say shut up.
Okay, perfect. Well, first of all, PAX was fantastic. I went with Pat from EXP Cast and David Lasby, our editor-in-chief over at Boss Rush website. It was great. I nearly strangled David to death because it was the first time I saw him in person, and I gave him a hug. I mean, I'm not that I met Pat already, so I gave him a hug too. But anyway, I commuted the first and last day because staying at a hotel in Boston is very expensive, which is fine. They got to see my road rage in the city and how Bostonians drive. But overall, it was pretty smooth. We, first time being media. So we went as media. Maybe I should clarify that. So we actually were there to work. We made a couple of appointments. We've decided just to, have a few, but don't completely clog up our schedules. We already assumed that Saturday would be our busiest day, the busiest day. Thursday, they give an extra hour to media, and they call it media hour from 9 to 10 in the morning. And at 10 o'clock, the door is open for everybody. We probably didn't use ours very wisely because there was a exclusive Tears of the Kingdom pin only at PAX. So like, oh, we're going to use media hour to wait in line for the pin. Instead of hitting some really big publishing companies to talk to.
Yeah, it's fine.
It sounds important to me. I mean, that's high priority.
There's nothing more important than Zelda.
But here's the thing, and LeRon, you tell me if this sounds like Nintendo or all of you guys. We figured, okay, all right, so first of all, you walk in, you see the Link statue. Beautiful, gorgeous statue. If it wasn't for like the bajillion security guards, I would have ran after it and tackled it and made sweet love to it. But there were a lot of security there. I took pictures, blah, blah, blah. Then there was the Nintendo booth in the exhibit hall. So we figure pin must be at Nintendo booth. Where else would the pin be? So we
You say pin like the thing you like put to your clothes, right?
Yes. pin.
Okay.
And we, media hour opened up, and turns out Nintendo didn't open up till 9:30. So, we kind of did whatever for 30 minutes. Then we got in line. There was already a line, and we waited for 15 minutes. Line barely moved. And then someone's like, "Oh, this is just where you can get Splatoon pins or Splatoon merch." And we're like, "What about Zelda?" "Oh, it's up front by the Link statue." And I'm like, "What?" So we wasted all this time, but there was no signs, nothing that says, like, all right, you walk in, there's the Link statue. The booth where you get the pin is behind the wall where the statue is, in the back.
Did you get the pin?
So, yes, later, because by the time we realized it and went upstairs, the line was like, so we just kind of gave up. By the end of the day, when we were about to leave, we saw ladies still sitting at the table, no line because everyone's gone. We're like, "Are there still pins?" "Yeah." So that's where we got our pins, took our picture with Link the statue, and Pat nearly got arrested for touching the Link statue. I exaggerate, but they were just...
As he should.
No, but Pat was like doing this, like barely. He was just about to touch the hand of Link, and the guy's like, "Don't touch the statue." It was great.
Sounds like Nintendo.
Oh.
Yeah, so Nintendo was being very vague.
I wish it would have been like a Gerudo guard from Ocarina of Time and thrown you back in jail if they found you.
That would be pretty awesome. Actually, I'm not sure, because then people will do that on purpose. But so no, I did not make the best use of my immediate hour. Now I know next time, just pick the most popular publisher or developer and play their game, and then I'll get the pin another time. It was sold out the next day, but so that was kind of how it started. Now I'm just gonna really not go in order, but I checked out a lot of indie devs. A lot of them, mostly people I've never heard of. Wow, I'm like, just I'll admit, I also hit up a lot of merch first. I just figured I'd have to spend all my money.
Oof.
And the first one, I'm not going to take it off the wall. It's a 3D shadow box of where the young Link enters Hyrule Field for the first time in Ocarina of Time. Absolutely gorgeous.
cool.
It's by Artovision. I want to do an interview with them or have them on the podcast. It's a father-son business where they do 3D shadow boxes of video games and media. Because of the popularity of Metroid, they're now doing like a lot of Metroid 3D shadow boxes. It's just really beautiful stuff. And I wanted it last year, but I didn't have the money. So the fact that I still wanted it this year, I'm like, all right, I'm pretty sure I won't regret it if I buy it. I stopped by Video Games New York. They are a merch company, but they also publish a few titles as well. Like, I got this Yuppie Psycho physical edition. They published it, and this is the Elite edition. What was curious or interesting when I spoke to them, I'm like, what constitutes as an Elite edition? And I guess they talked to like collectors, and I guess a lot of collectors' responses is, we miss the game manuals. So they put in like a game manual and a poster, and they only charged this like an extra $5 more than the non-Elite edition. I mean, there's no statue, there's no wooden
Notebook
board or
or
something,
whatever.
but they only charge $5 more. So I feel like it's fair. Stop by Limited Run. Of course, you always got to get there early. I got myself a PAX exclusive Axiom Verge 2 box.
That's cool.
I got
Nice.
Castlevania collection.
Nice.
I got a Tunic Stuffy. He's so
adorable.
cute. I got a crap ton of pins. I won't bother you with that. And let's see. I got a book written by Dr. Bean, who wrote The Psychology of Zelda.
Oh, cool.
It's called Integrating Geek Culture into Therapeutic Practice. But anyway, enough of that stuff, but more about playing games. So I demoed a lot of stuff. We checked out Moon Eye Studio. They have a couple good indie games there. One's called Shoo Me Come Home. You play as a cute little mushroom and you platform and you solve puzzles. It's a little Wind Waker-esque only in the sense that it's got cell shading and you glide on a leaf. But for the most part, it's just more exploratory and puzzles. Let's see. Oh my goodness, I probably should. Oh, I can pull up my schedule because I don't want to waste all y'all's time. Chorus Worldwide. All right, this is a huge chunk. I'm pretty sure we visited this booth every day. So Chorus Worldwide and Toge Studios were across each other. So we got to see all their games. I got to demo Coffee Talk 2.
Ooh, nice.
Fantastic. Toge is brilliant. They open a bunch of coffee bean stuff, so the whole booth smelled like coffee.
That's cool.
It was awesome. So it was a great demo. They do a basic intro. I also demoed. It's a game that already came out though. A Space for the Unbound. Pat is a huge fan of that game.
Oh, I heard that game's really good.
Yes.
Very good.
David got to interview one of the writers of Coffee Talk 2. And then Pat got to interview the creator of A Space for the Unbound. It was really awesome to be able to talk to those creators. Just absolutely brilliant. And playing their games, meeting them. We love them so much we swung by almost every day. So that's Toge and Chorus Worldwide. I also stopped by Berserk Studio and tried Infernax. I guess Limited Run published one of their games, and they're about to release a co-op. It was cool. They had a nice couch setup. I got to sit and talk to the writer of the game. So most of my excitement comes from the people that actually involved with creating it.
That's a game that's Zelda 2, right? It's like a 2D.
Yes.
It's really difficult too.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a mixture of Zelda 2 and Castlevania 2.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Corey, I actually made it through the demo. If I can do it, you can do it too.
It's really hard. It's on Game Pass, I think. I think it launched on Game Pass or something. Yeah, I remember playing it on the cloud, on my Game Pass account when it came out.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
No, but you're right. It is hard. But he taught.
What's it called?
Infernax.
Infernax. Okay, I think I've seen it on Game Pass. I think it's on Game Pass.
It kind of had a low key launch.
Yeah.
Last year, I think.
Let's see what else. We visited Prideful Sloth. I'm trying to remember what games I played there. It was just a lot. Slay the Princess. So there's an area called PAX Rising where they hand cherry pick some of the most exciting or fan favorite games. One of them, Slay the Princess. It's hand drawn, and it's kind of just a narrative where you just pick the responses. Where was I going with that? The reason why I loved it is I got to meet the artist, I got to meet the composer, I got to meet the dev, and I think they won one of the PAX Rising contests. And there's another one, Sovereign Syndicate by Crimson Herring. It is a CRPG. I know Corey likes anything card-based, but
love it.
But it's more like when you play an old school RPG where you roll dice, instead of rolling dice, you pick a tarot card. I had no idea what they meant. I was just more about picking choices. It's a lot like Divinity Original Sin, kind of like that a little bit. So let me see, try to get a couple things. All right, so another one I want to talk about. It's actually not a video game, but this was an interesting concept, and I had a lot of fun. It's called Crit Rate. The two founders of Crit Rate are both named Justin, so it was great for me because I could remember their names. And it's a video game recommendation platform. I believe they also own a business where I'll have to look it up. It's Eon Gaming, where they kind of provide technology to support older gaming systems like the Nintendo 64. Crit Rate works a little similarly, but not the same as how games are recommended on Steam. But their hook is you take a personality quiz. You know the Myers-Briggs personality thing?
Mm-hmm.
So you take you answer questions that cater to your gaming habits. the kind of stuff you like to play. Do you like to play alone? Blah, blah, blah. And then you get sorted into like 5 houses, and each house explains the type of gamer that you are. Like one is you're a gamer where you're all about the community, where you do that to socialize. There's a type of gamer that's very competitive. There's a type of gamer that's there just for the exploration, which is me. So I'm wearing their shirt right now. This is the Curio Knot. So
That's cool.
Patrick and I think and David too, we're all Curio Knots. And based on the house you're sorted in, you are given game recommendations by other people that are sorted into that house. Because when you're looking at a Metacritic score or a Steam recommendation, that's a whole aggregate. That's just everybody giving their opinion about what game it is. But are you really comparing apples to oranges? Because if this is the example I use, and heaven forbid I use this example because this episode will get a bad review on Apple Podcasts. But Elden Ring, great game. Almost everybody probably can say it definitely deserves a Game of the Year. But for a Curionaut or a person like me, I might not necessarily like Elden Ring, even though it is a good quality game. You know what I'm saying? So if I look up a Metacritic score or reviews on Steam, I might see that's a great game. I mean, how many people have you heard that never play a game like Elden Ring? They see how popular and highly rated it is, so they play it for that reason and then wonder why they didn't like it.
That was like half of Boss Rush, I feel like.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think that's kind
Yeah.
of Crit Rate's like message is we're a game recommendation platform based off of the type of community that likes games like you. And I can go in and I can rate games. It's like a like it, a love it, or a leave it.
It's cool. It's like having your own personal Metacritic. It's like, but all the reviewers like games that you like. It's like so you can see
Exactly.
like do people like me like this game, which is really interesting. Because there's like no other
Exactly.
platform that you can do that. Like you could no way to really get recommendations for games that for that specific type of recommendations. You know.
Is there a way to find this thing, or is it interactive somewhere out there? I'd love to check this out.
Oh, I'll totally put the link in the chat. It's really fun and it's easy. So
Okay, is it like in like a beta sort of thing, or is it like fully out
it's
there?
fully live.
Oh, okay.
They are so the tough part is they're still
Drop it right now.
All right, hold on. Let me. They're manually updating their game library. They'll
Okay.
eventually, when they scale, they're gonna have to want to find a way to automate because there's just too many games out there. But it is a live service, so to speak.
That's cool.
I don't have to pay anything. And the cool thing during PAX, because PAX is all about showcasing a bunch of games. I mean, granted, mostly indie games. So they had on the screen the 4 or 5 houses, and all the games from PAX that are recommended for your gaming type. And they're being like, they go move up and down like as people are rating them live. And I talked to them, and I don't want to false promise anything, but those are the guys that I'm in talks with that maybe they could come on to the Boss Rush podcast and discuss the findings of where all the games were rated from PAX depending on those houses.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Also,
That's cool.
you said they have Eon Gaming. Is that what you said?
Yes.
They make those HD converters for GameCube and N64 that like up-res your GameCube and N64, and they're like the converters are like really expensive, high tech, like $150.
Yep. So
I knew
that's them.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know like the exact relationship, but I found that they're connected, or I don't know. I'll get you more details, but I know they're related. So that honestly, that was one of the highlights. It wasn't even a game. I mean, they're great. I think they have an awesome concept. I hope they can find a way to scale and maintain. Because I can make this argument all day long. I feel like whether someone likes a video game or not, it's ultimately subjective. Unless the game is actually broken, and we only have a limited funds, right, to buy games. So we gotta, anyway. So that's Crit Rate. I
Let's all
highly
sign up
recommend
live
it.
on air.
Yeah, and you let us know what house you're in. And I wrote a great article on it, descriptions of what those houses are. Maybe I can describe them when you guys get your results eventually.
Hey, how long does it take to get the results?
It's quick. It's a couple questions per page, 7 pages, I think. Like I did it within 5 minutes.
Okay, so we have to sign up for this. Okay, so much for being anonymous. All right, whatever.
Anonymous.
Let's do this.
You don't want to be
Yes.
anonymous. They want your information, LeRon.
I know. That's the problem. I should link this. To the actual Crossroads email address.
Do it.
I'll do my personal. Okay, I'll do.
For what it's worth, as soon as I signed up, I didn't get spammed with emails by them. Like, I really, and you don't pay anything, you just an email and password.
Yeah.
So that's a big one. Just breeze through a couple more. I demoed a few games by Dear Villagers. That includes Fort Solace. Maybe LeRon might have something to say about it. Fort Solace is, I guess, one of the bigger indie games there because they have mocap, and Troy Baker and Roger Clark will be playing in that game. Actually, Roger Clark was there. I went on a panel on acting, bringing characters to life with motion capture. So one of those panels, Roger Clark was there in person. It said Troy Baker, but Troy Baker only sent a video message, and I was very upset.
He's working on The Last of Us Part 3. He doesn't have time.
No time. I don't know, LeRon, if you're busy taking the quiz. I don't know if you want to kind of chime in, but Fort Solace is supposed to be a science fiction. I don't know if horror is the right word. I would use more of thriller. People would the actors and actresses were hinting at it being like really violent and scary. Unfortunately, when I played the demo was only of probably the very beginning of the game where I'm literally walking to various rooms, and that was pretty much it. So I didn't get any semblance of this action or thriller or part of it. And I think I kind of broke the game because you listen to an audio log. I left the room, I came back, the audio log replayed again. And while an audio log is playing, you can't interact with anything in the room.
What?
Yeah. But I don't know, maybe it was just my luck.
How? Ooh, I don't know. I don't know if I want to say anything because I might sound mean. But hold on, this is a tech demo, but technically you didn't really get to do anything except listen to something.
No, I mean I walked I walked through a couple rooms. I solved very light puzzle elements to get to said other rooms. Someone or something may have been present and sent a cart crashing my way, but that's kind of it. And then it left with me kind of opening up the station and entered Mars because that's where it's taking place. Fort Solace is on Mars. So
Okay, all right. Before I pass any real judgment on this, did you like conversate with anybody else that may have tried this demo out, just to see if there may have been something different? Because you know how there's I've seen in the past where, like, for example, PT Silent Hills, like that was a demo that, like, you 1 out of 3 people experienced it differently, because like it was a like a vast puzzle or whatnot, and like not everybody saw the exact same thing. There were some things that are hallmarks of the of that demo, but not everybody saw the exact same thing. They got the same conclusion, but they didn't experience the same, like, gameplay element to it.
well, people in socials holler at me, but I feel like it was pretty linear. And I had a PR person, so she wasn't the dev, but she was something who knows about the game. She was there, and she didn't really point out like you could do this, you could do that. She's like, "Oh, you just need to, I forget, unlock this door." I'm like, "Okay, I'll unlock the door." I'm not trying to make fun of it. Like I said, like I can make a decision. I just don't know if that was the right choice of what to demo. I don't know. Whoever's demoed Fort Solace at PAX, please let me know if you have any other opinions.
Wait, is it Solace or Solus?
I called it Fort Solace,
Okay,
and that's how
right.
the people.
It's all the same.
Yeah. All right.
Um,
Let's see. I see some articles on it. Digital Trends and Eurogamer are saying some interesting stuff about it. Incredible character animations are a step forward for video games. That was from Digital Trends. Eurogamer Fort Solus is heading up to PlayStation 5 this. Okay, never mind. That doesn't really say much.
I mean, yeah, the graphics and stuff and the motion capture is fun.
I'm torn because I feel here's my thing, right? You're at this event, you're at PAX and stuff, right? PAX might as well be fucking E3, at this point now because E3 is just a mess. Like for the
Is
third
it
year
even
in a row.
happening? Is it even happening? That's the
I
question.
know Ubisoft
Yeah.
Ubisoft backed out, and I'm like, damn, if you lost Ubisoft, something's wrong. That's all I'm gonna say because Ubisoft, in my opinion, like they don't bring the boys to the yard, in my opinion.
Ubisoft is also kind of in a shithole right now. So,
True that. True. Yeah.
but yeah,
But anyway, so I don't know. You bring this thing to PAX, and PAX is basically like E3 pre-show, honestly. And from what you explained to me, I'm taking your account to be pretty accurate, Stephanie. But from what you're explaining to me, sounds like they brought a half-ass demo there, and I don't know how I feel about that because it kind of gives me the same vibes as when like developers send like review codes like 2 days before the game is out, or we have like slipshot demos that are supposed that end with please pre-order the game, and stuff like that. So and like they let press see this.
Yeah.
I'm torn because like I try to be very objective about this stuff, but I'm the same person that like the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. When I see embargoes on reviews, or I hear like hey, we didn't get a review code until 2 days before the game comes out, or better yet, we had a review code that we had 3 weeks in advance, and then they scrapped the whole thing since a brand new review code. It's a different game, so that's kind of stuff that just drives me kind of insane and stuff like that. And I try to be pretty objective when I like review stuff and stuff like that. But like that right there, I probably would have walked out there and be like, no, I'm not reviewing this game. I'm not putting any words out for this game. That would have been me personally.
No, it's fine. I mean, I think what ultimately kind of confused me, right? Because when I first walked out of the demo, I'm like, all right, well, we'll see. Was that when I went to the panel later, when again Roger Clark and they were talking about Fort Solace, and I'm sure they were paid to do it, but they were talking it up like this amazing freaking story that will give you nightmares in your sleep. Like, oh my gosh, it's so violent and blah 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 blah. Blah. I was scared. I'm like,
And you
that
didn't
is
have
like
one jump scare.
no. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
I'm like,
see,
is this the
that's
same game?
crazy. It seems like maybe they just wanted to focus on like the graphics or something, like a technical showcase sort of demo,
Maybe,
but
yeah.
it's not really
oh my
indicative. It's
god,
not really indicative of what the actual game is going to be like. So that's not really a good
Right.
demo. You're not showing off
So
I would
the
have,
core gameplay
mhm.
of this
Yeah.
game. So
I
it's
would
like,
have,
okay.
I would have came back from PAX and wrote and am I the asshole thread on Reddit. God. Ooh.
Yeah.
I don't
We'll
know.
see.
And it comes out
We'll
this year
see
too,
because
which is crazy.
it looks like late summer or Q3.
Mhm.
From what this is looking like, I've got my eye on it because like this is one of the mini sci-fi horror games that were showcased last summer during E3 season, and it looked interesting. I mean, like honestly, the game looks like if The Martian, that the movie with Matt Damon, was a horror movie.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what it looked like from the preview trailers and stuff like that. But I mean, like if they couldn't even give you like one little jump scare, I'm kind of afraid.
Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I hope, honestly, I hope it's just the fact that they just didn't choose the best part to demo in. That's the best case scenario. So we'll see what happens. I actually was hoping I got an interview with the president of Dear Villagers, like president of publishing, but it was through a third party person, and they double booked, and I was never able to reschedule. So I was really bummed out about that. Let's see. Just real quick, I'm going to go through a few more, and I'm just going to include kind of what maybe David and Pat covered that I couldn't. Pat and David tried out WrestleQuest. You can
That's a
check out an
RPG, right?
article. Yeah, wrestling RPG.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
What else? Has anyone played Don't Feed the Monkeys? Do Not Feed the Monkeys. It's a digital voyeur sim, and there's a sequel to that. I talked to the developer of it, and he was super nice. So it was just cool to get you know hear about him creating it. I tried Road 96 Mile Zero. So you guys remember Road 96?
Yeah, but that's
I've
that
heard of it.
weird. It has
I've
that weird
heard of
like
it.
comic book art style, right? Am I
A
thinking
little
of
bit.
something
So
else?
it's showcased at an Indie World showcase. It is one where your character hitchhikes their way across this fictional country to kind of escape whatever political oppression there is, and it's literally like choose your own adventure.
Oh,
You
I see.
can like talk to certain people or do certain actions which influence what outcome it is. I was really interested in it. I bought it. I just haven't had a chance to play it. So obviously I was like, let me try out their Mile Zero. And what Mile Zero is supposed to be is like a prequel to before Road 96 as but
Okay.
here's another funny thing. Again, it's all about choosing your demos, right? I jump in. I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to be hitchhiking or doing something. It's like same style. Choose your own adventure narrative story with several endings. It was I was okay. I don't know how to explain this. It was a music element level, meaning you are on rails, like you're a kid on a skateboard, and you're moving and you're avoiding objects and you're jumping and you're ducking and collecting crystals while music is playing. I guess see the look on your face, Grayson. I was for a good few minutes. I then paused the game and I Googled Road 96 because I thought I got the game wrong. I'm like, this isn't the same game. Like I thought I got this incorrect 'cause it was a completely different genre,
Oh
completely
shit.
different gameplay. Confused the fuck out of me. I even like pulled the lady to the side. I'm like, isn't this isn't Road 96 a game where you just walk around and do different things? And Hitchhike shows, yeah. In this prequel, you have these musical levels where you blah
The
blah
hell?
blah, and it tells the story through that level. And I'm sitting there like,
Like
and
why?
I asked, I'm like, aren't you afraid the people who like Road 96 are people who are not going to like this and it's going to confuse them? Oh, well, we have the same elements from Road 96, like in between, mixed in. I'm like,
You're like, okay.
Hmm.
I don't know. So
Interesting.
that
Interesting.
I
Yeah.
was confused. I was so confused that I had to look up the game to make sure I was playing the right game. So
That's funny.
yeah, and I'm gonna wind down with just a couple more. Lasby played Strayed Light. I don't know if that's something that sounds familiar to you guys. I played
Never even heard of it.
Gory Cuddly Carnage. You play as an orange kitty, and you ride a
Pass.
no wait, you ride around on a hoverboard and you kill zombie unicorns.
I've seen like a preview of that game. I can't remember where I saw that. It was somewhere on YouTube, and I was like, and I was thinking the same thing. The commentator was like, "This is the craziest shit ever," but maybe, but it's pass for me. Pass.
It was actually a lot of fun. Don't be discriminating against cats, okay?
No, I don't like zany
Cat.
like off
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
wall like this is why the what was that Goose Game? Untitled Goose
Titled.
Game was huh? Was that the name of it?
Yeah,
Okay,
Untitled
Untitled
Goose
Goose
Game.
Game is a little different than Gory Cuddly Carnage, just saying.
Remember that game Naughty Bear where you were like the teddy bear?
Oh my
that made
god, yeah,
really
like
teddy
the
bears?
PS3,
That
I
was
think.
fun. That was fun.
Dude, it's similar. Gory is developed by a I keep using the same words over again. The developer specializes in horror games. That's all they put out.
Mhm.
Okay? So this is not Untitled Goose Game, okay? You
I don't
kill
know. Goose
things
is
that
pretty
kill
scary.
humans. So the last two I wanted to go over, there's so much more, but I don't want to, take up all the time and stuff, is A Corgi's Cozy Hike. I've been meaning to
Ooh.
swing by this booth and they were slammed, so I got to see them on the final day. Very small two-person dev team, A Cozy Corgi's Hike. Very small, very simple. They've only made mobile games to date, but you play as a cute little corgi and you just fly around a little island and it's so cute and it's fun. And the best part is 20% of the profit goes to helping animals get out of a shelter. LeRon, don't give me that face. Don't,
He kind of
you
looks like a short
animal
hike
hater.
too.
I was getting ready. I was getting ready to check out. As a matter of fact, I was getting ready to like kill my camera until you said about the whole part about the animal shelter part, and I'm like, okay, I can't be that big of a dick. I can't.
So it kind of looks like a short hike too. It has like
It
that
is.
pixel, that lo-fi, like Animal Crossing looking style, which is really
You
cool.
nailed it right on the head. They said the inspiration was a short hike.
Yeah, it looks so good.
Listen, LeRon, they raised about $15,000 for animal shelters, and they got 30 dogs adopted. So shame on you, you dog and cat hater.
I'm not a dog and cat hater. I am not. I am
How many
not. I
dogs
think I
have you
just
got
told you that.
adopted, Ron? I'm just kidding.
Was that my last dog was a rescue, and my roommate and his girlfriend literally just got a puppy on Sunday, and she's starting to be my best friend.
Go home, LeRon. Wait,
fair.
you're already home. Never mind.
Ah,
No. And just for those that like developers with a good cause, LeRon, Scalisco, I think that's how you pronounce it. The developers, they are launching a Kickstarter next week. So I'm keeping an eye on that.
I just got an email from them announcing their Kickstarter launch.
Well, there you go.
Well,
And
I
then
was like, who
last
is this?
Well, was it a reply to my email? Anyway, we'll talk offline. Last but not least, because we might spend some time on this, is Yacht Club games.
Hmm.
I swung by on the first day on Thursday just to say hi to Celia, and I think I freaked her out. I gave her a hug.
aw.
She was probably like all in like work mode and it's chaos. I'm like, hi, it's Steph from Boss Rush. I probably should ask permission to hug you. Sorry. I meant well. There was a Shovel Knight Dig and Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon, but also Mina the Hollower. And let me tell you, next to Devolver, because Devolver was there, and I didn't even bother with Devolver because they had lines wrapped around their booth all day, all night, all 4 days. Just forget it. Like I didn't have it. No. So next to Devolver, Yacht Club was probably one of the next ones that always had a perpetual line for Mina the Hollower. It was insane. So thank you, Corey, for getting that appointment. We got our own booth. We sat with one of the developers of Mina.
Who?
It
Which
was
one?
His name is Eli.
Yeah. Sorry, I got you.
Do you know who that is?
I like Yacht Club.
Oh, but you know who Eli is?
I follow him on Twitter. I don't know him, but
all right. Well, it was great.
You could have said any name. You could have said Steve, and I would have been like, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we love you, Eli. It was great. Both Pat and myself demoed Mina the Hollower. I had fun, but I'm really bad at those kind of games, and I died like 20 times. Whereas Pat, he beat the entire demo, including the boss, all in one go. He got an applause from the dev. He
Nice.
because he's like, so many people like couldn't even get to the boss. Some people had like came back twice, 3 times just to speed run to get to it. It is again very much Game Boy aesthetics, Game Boy sound, very a Link's Awakening.
Oh yes.
Well, the aesthetics Link's Awakening,
Yeah.
I should say. And in a sense, I think there's a little bit of like almost a little Souls-like element to it, but it's not as punishing. They had us demo 3 different weapons. There was a whip, there were dual daggers, and a hammer. A lot of adventure. The Mina can burrow underground and then pop up and pick up a boulder and stuff like that. So there's a lot of like kind of hints as to where you see Shovel Knight influence because she burrows underground. And the way the dev put it, it goes, Shovel Knight is like our Mario, where Mina is like our Zelda. Shovel Knight's their main IP. It's their representative mascot, and then they want Mina to kind of be more the action adventure that Zelda is that they bring to Yacht Club.
That is so cool.
I'm so excited for Mina. I'm so excited for Mina.
Yeah. So that was probably one of my favorite demos. Not to be cliche, but it was just really such an experience. And I still have yet to mail you that everyone autographed that card for you, Corey. So I still saved it.
It was very nice. Thank you.
Yeah. So I literally word vomited for like a half hour, and there was just so much more to talk about. But I felt so honored and privileged to talk to developers, hear their stories, especially the smaller ones because they're extremely passionate about it. And I also appreciated the networking that I met so many other content creators. We exchanged business cards. We're still in touch. One of them wants me to go on their podcast and talk about PAX. this type of community is amazing. It was a lot of positive energy, and I want to come back for sure.
Yeah. I want to go back. I am very sad I did not get to go. It was pretty crushing, actually, but that's okay. I cried alone under my desk for a little bit. It's okay.
Oh no.
You kind of made me cry. I'm just saying.
That's okay.
Yeah.
We cried together.
We'll talk about it on After Dark.
Okay. Well,
Oh.
LeRon, I see that you took the quiz. You are an ascendiary.
Yeah. Okay. So, welcome to
us.
House Ascendiary. You're going to love it here. Below, you'll find a summary of your results as well as a breakdown of the 7 dimensions that characterize you as a gamer. No stone left unturned, no achievement unclaimed. The Ascendiary won't settle for anything less than 100%. Their dedication to specific games is often rewarded with a level of knowledge and skill that few can rival.
Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
Exactly. Your results shows you engage equally in mindless fun and friendly competition. You prefer games with distinct tasks, and you spend most of your time tearing it up in solo games. Yep, that sounds like me. And you're not alone. 526 new players have been initiated into House Ascendiary this month. All right, so let's see. Top picks of the house. Resident Evil 4 Remake, God of War Ragnarok, Metroid Prime Remastered, Vampire Survivors, Legends of Heroes, Tales of Azure. It's funny that this is mentioned because like I've actually been hovering on should I buy this game. Actually, I've been hovering on that one.
Like the Legends of Heroes,
This one,
the trailer are those the Trails games?
Trails to Azure. Yeah,
I wanted to start that game too. I know it's like a crazy series where it's hard to start somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, Dead Space remake. Of course, I just finished that, and I'm about to jump into New Game Plus sooner or later. Hi-Fi Rush is in there. I don't know why they said Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe. I'm never playing that game. Wolong Fallen Dynasty. It's been loaded into my Xbox Live. My Game Pass games, but I haven't started yet. And Hogwarts Legacy, which is on my list, and I will be playing that. It might be a summer game for me. Hogwarts Legacy. I want to play after all the hype has died down.
You can play that Switch version coming in July.
No, I don't want to play that Switch version. And then there's some gamer traits. Let me see. I'm 50-50 in competitive, so they call me a ready rival. A loyal wanderer. I am 67% solo, 33% multiplayer. Challenge. I'm a sweet spotter. I like it. 57%. I like it easy, but 43% I can also deal with difficult. Let me see. A mainliner. Okay, now this is creativity. Mainliner, you'll dip your toe into everything a game has to offer, all of its modes, side quests, and mechanics. But you prefer to spend time on the few things that you truly care about, like the story, multiplayer mode, or petting your Pidgeot over and over again until it beats your friend who clearly had the superior Pokemon. That sounds like me, actually. Let's see. They also called me a shot caller, a fable finder. A fable finder, you still like to sink your teeth into all the features the game has to offer, but it's solid plot and compelling characters that really scratch your itch. Yeah, exactly. You live and breathe the story and the world you're tossed into, and sometimes you'll even catch yourself creating your own backstories for characters who don't have one. Yeah, because I have a creative mind. Yeah, video games are a storytelling medium after all, and that's what you connect with. All right. Velocity Raptor. Like I prefer games that are a little faster paced than the slow paced games. Like you throw me a game and says, "Oh, it takes like 100+ hours to beat." I'm probably gonna be like, "Next." Those are highlights of my thing. But yeah, I kind of like it.
That's cool. I started to take it, but it was like too many questions right now, and I don't want to like focus on that and not listen to people talking.
No worries. Just make sure you share with us later. But
yeah, I'll do it
that's
later.
pretty cool. And since we're on it, like just real quick, as a curio, not my top recommended games were Resident Evil 4, Bayonetta Origins, Cereza and Lost Demon, Legend of Heroes, Trails to Azure, Rulon Fallen Dynasty, Octopath 2, Horizon Call of the Mountain, Atomic Heart, Like a Dragon, Ishin. So,
interesting batch of games.
Yeah, so these are the 5 houses real quick. Vantagist, that they focus on strategy and difficulty. The Curionaut, they focus on experimentation and slow-paced gameplay. Ascendiary, LeRon already described. The Galabander, they're more for fun and multiplayer, and the Bravadier for glory, which is competitive spirit and fast-paced gameplay. Anywho,
This is cool. I kind of like this. Yes, definitely. Since you've got the line in on them, definitely try to. It's your job to get them to boss rush. It's your job.
all right. I will do that. So that's just a very just a glimpse of what PAX is. I don't know if y'all have any questions, but I will definitely want to do that again.
Yeah.
Well, I hope to join the festivities next year.
Yeah.
Same. I'm going to. I mean, I'll be there next year. I just
in the week or two before you have to go there, you just might want to put yourself in a sensory deprivation tank and just stay there. Yeah, you.
I know.
That's the only way you're going to avoid.
Isolation.
That's the only way you're going to avoid like the creepy crawlies. That's the only way
Or
you're
buy
gonna
a hazmat suit. I told Corey 1,000 times, get a hazmat suit.
I know.
Well, the problem
It's like cosplay. People cosplay
is,
there, so that'll be like your outfit. Just say you're from some random video game or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it did bankrupt me because, and we'll talk about this soon, right? Surprise, surprise, surprise. Nintendo decided to show off a bunch of things about a certain franchise and also drop an OLED that I happened to buy. So now I'm like really, really bankrupt.
Yes, I have words for this. So you better get
here
ready.
we go.
No, you know me. You know how I am.
All right.
Are we ready to move on to the next topic?
The links are listening, so be careful.
Yeah, link. More links. I got my Skyward Sword link. I got my 8-bit link. I got my toy link.
I almost impulse bought that Toon Link amiibo. I almost impulse bought it.
Oh, it's such a good one.
I missed that.
And all the Link ones I feel like are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
No, but I might go back and buy the more realistic Zelda one. The Legend of Zelda amiibos.
Which one is that? That's the Skyward Sword one, isn't it? That's the only one I
that's-
don't have. That's the only one I don't have.
That's the only one you don't have, Corey?
Yeah.
And of course,
I didn't think I had the Wind Waker one, and I do. I don't have the Smash Wind Waker one. I just have the Wind Waker one.
I saw a bunch of the amiibo like on sale, and I've been using quotes because like it's still more expensive than the original retail, but it's still discounted from the jacked up price. So that's where I got these two from, and I also got Wind Waker, which was the most expensive of the bunch. I got it like for $45, and then all of a sudden now it dropped the dual pack at Target. I'm like, F. But I missed it anyway. What do you guys think historically? Like, if the Wind Waker set at Target, the pre-order is sold out now, do you think it'll either go live again or at least will be available physically? Or do you think this is really going to be a rare situation?
I think they will. I bet there'll be a small release of ones in store that are actually available.
Oh, because I might consider returning the Wind Waker one then. I really do want the Wind Waker one. It's I can't predict, it's hard to tell. Look what happened to the Zelda and the Loftwing. It like sold out immediately, and now like stores can't get rid of it.
Oh, man.
Yes.
Man, they got my first 4 games wrong on this list.
You're a curio not just like us.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, who's us?
Oh.
Like you.
Corey's a curio not, I'm a curio not, Pat's a curio not, and David is a curio not.
Yeah. They got my first 4 games wrong though.
What are they?
What are the 4 games?
Resident Evil 4, God of War Ragnarok, Kirby's Return of Dreamland, and Metal Hellsinger.
Stop. You're a Nintendo person, so like even if you're thinking that Kirby Return of Dreamland,
Horizon is number 5.
Mm-hmm.
Man, this is all kinds of wrong.
Then that means you if you're saying is wrong, then that means you've answered your questions not as either accurately
I answered them
or
as accurate as possible.
If it's like the Myers-Briggs test, man, then you're flubbing, buddy.
I never played a Plague Tale Requiem. I've heard it's good, but I have like 0 interest.
Well,
Octopath
just because you
Traveler
have
2.
0 interest right now doesn't mean it's not a good game recommendation.
I know, but Octopath Traveler 2, I didn't care for the first one. Trails of Azure.
That was like on everyone's list. What's your
Yeah.
Metroid Prime Remastered, and the only two games on this list that I could say I actually really like are Horizon oh no, this is
That's the
Horizon
VR
Call
one,
of the
right?
Mountain.
Yeah, which is random.
Mm.
To Metroid is like the only game, maybe, pretty much.
Neat. That's fine.
Excuse me.
But yeah, it said a God of War 100%. I'm like, man.
Yeah, we can tell though Nintendo fans are all up on this because Metroid Prime Remastered scored higher than Dead Space Remake.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
I'm happy with my results though, because like a lot of these games that are on the house's picks, like, you know, either I have played or they're on my list of games to play.
Can you see the games that are on the other lists after you take the test?
That's a good question.
Because that would be really interesting to see what games are on the other list. House top picks. These are the house top picks. So where are my top picks?
Explore your gamer house.
Yeah.
Let's
Well, I mean,
see something.
this is cool. I'm just trying to figure out if I can see if there was something else that like.
Well,
Hey, my house is excited for Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I like that.
My house is also excited for that.
if you guys want to, like, we can kind of explore this and talk more about it if we can get them on the show. But for now, we should kind of move on to another topic, I think.
Yeah.
I guess. Since Stephanie told us we had to.
I didn't say we had to.
All right. So, do we want to talk about Zelda or Resident Evil first?
We were kind of talking about both, so whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Corey, how you liking Resident Evil 4?
Oh my gosh, it's so scary. I want to like die every time I turn it on. Which was the one time I turned it on. I'm like, I played a little bit of Resident Evil 4 on the GameCube, and I like didn't really care about it. What, LeRon? What do you want?
Listen,
maybe he's gonna say that Resident Evil 4 is like the least scariest Resident Evil game.
Yes.
Greysun, help me out here. How scary was Resident Evil 4 when you played it? Like the original, back in the GameCube.
I mean, I remember I was a kid, so I was a little scared, but I was not scared compared to like Resident Evil first 1 or 2.
2 or 3,
yeah, or
right?
Anything else really? Well, yeah, 5 and 6 are probably the least scariest. But I forget they exist.
5 and 6 are basically Gears of War games with zombies.
The 4 is like that.
Yeah,
a good mix, I think. Of
the only time 4 was scary. The only time 4 was scary to me back in the day is when I got to a boss battle, because like I hate dying in survival horror games. So that's the only time that Resident Evil 4 was scary for me. And we're not even going to talk about Resident Evil 5 and 6. You know,
I only get scared when I walk into a quiet area and I think I'm safe and I'm collecting all ammo and shit, and there's a random enemy just like standing there in a corner and then grabs me. Like those little wooden shacks that are on the side of the road. They usually just like hide in there, and you're just like, well, I did not see you there, and it's freaked out.
Yeah. The enemies aren't really that scary. It's the guy with the chainsaw that runs around with a bag on his head. That's pretty scary, especially when you're in a house and he's in the house and you have to like run around him to get away from him.
Yeah.
And then I remember I was like backed in this corner, and there was probably like 10 or 15 enemies like walking towards me, including the chainsaw baghead guy. And then the church bell rang like as they were getting ready to attack me, and it triggered a cutscene. I'm like, oh my god, thank God.
Is this your first time playing it?
Yeah.
Like, oh wow, it's crazy not knowing
Corey,
that's on a timer.
Corey doesn't play scary games. He doesn't play scary games.
Here's the thing: I played a little bit of Resident Evil 4 on the GameCube, just like a little bit, but I don't remember any of it.
Okay.
And I was like, I don't really care about this. And now, like, I don't really know, and I'm past the part that I got. I just started chapter 2. And which I know probably is only like a half hour into the game, but like I didn't know where to go or what to do, so it took me like 2 hours and 15 minutes to get there, which is fine. But when you're trying to open the gate over by the windmill, and like I couldn't really figure that out either. But then when you drop down, and Stephanie texted me about this last night right after I did it, and she was like, the pig head guy, and I was like trying to figure out, oh, you mean the nasty creepy guy with the hammer? And I was like, I just was like,
That's a new enemy. That one, he freaked me out more than Chainsaw Man,
Like the
but that's just
cowhead
me.
people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cowhead. Yeah, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Isn't it ironic that for our Boss Rush book club for Resident Evil 4, 2 out of hopefully 4, other 2 to be determined, where we both don't like horror games, and I never played Resident Evil 4 before either. This is
Yeah.
my first go.
I think that'll be good for discussion though, because we don't know any better, and other people do.
Listen, I was horrible. That village portion, the first part of the game, I died. Did they tell me how many times I died? 5 times. 5 times in that one
Not
session.
too bad for the first time.
I mean, but I see myself improving because I like the stats they give at the end.
The
So my
chapters, yeah.
accuracy was 81.7% for chapter 1, and then I improved to 86.2 in chapter 2, and I went from 5 deaths to 1 death. And I
Nice.
killed 33 enemies to 47 enemies. Here's the part that's hard for me for Resident Evil 4. I'm used to most games that I play that you can dodge, like roll or whatever. You don't. Leon is just like trudging along, and I'm like pressing the L3 so freaking hard, like trying to run. And that's how I ended up dying most of the time because I can't dodge out of the way, and the enemies get close, and I try to run, and they grab me. And I'm like, all right, I think that's what I kind of learned between chapter 1 and chapter 2. I'm like, I gotta revisit my gaming habits and change the way I approach things. And I guess that's how I'm getting better. I'm still struggling, don't get me wrong, but it's really hard without that dodge button.
Yeah. Yeah. So to be fair, to be 100% honest, it's like, it's kind of scary, but it's more of like atmospheric scary. There's only
Yeah.
one part that really like scared the shit out of me, and it's I was walking. What was I doing? I was in that first house where you have to go into the basement,
Oh, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and then you like I forget what happened. It scared me so much. I forget what happened, but like there's like a jump scare, and I was like, I dropped my controller, and I was like, oh my god.
Wow.
But then like the village part was scary because it felt overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
And then like just the vibe of the people. Also the damn bear traps. Why are there so many bear traps?
Yeah,
There's a
they're
ton.
I'm trying to run away. I'm trying to run away from these people, and like every like 10 steps, Leon's like, oh god, my leg. And then like he's just like, wow, well, whatever. It's crazy how many bear traps there are. I'm just trying to run away, guys. I'm just trying to run away.
They're hard to see, but you can kind of lure the villagers into them if you're lucky.
Oh, you can? Oh.
Yeah, they can get stuck.
I love luring villagers and the chainsaw man into a tripwire. That's great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I walked into a tripwire once.
What?
Yeah. I wasn't paying attention.
It's so gruesome. Like he blows up into like pieces. Like
yeah. So that was fun.
I think what helps me not be scared is because of the cheesy lines Leon says. I'm like, all right, well, it's it's okay.
Yeah, Leon's pretty cheesy.
It's like you're watching, like playing like an action movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you guys playing on, performance or fidelity mode?
Performance always, yeah.
Okay.
PS5.
I think fidelity. It's whatever the default was. Like I didn't change it from what it was.
I think the default.
I believe by default.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm actually playing on fidelity on Xbox, and it's pretty smooth actually. I don't think I'm hitting quite 60 frames, but it's more than 30. I just wanted to see what it looked like because I know that first area you kind of walk through and the moon's lighting up the water, and I wanted to see the reflections and stuff. But I'm going to switch to performance as soon as I start playing again. I just want to. I always start out in performance because I want to see what it looks like before or fidelity. I always start out in fidelity because I want to see how good it looks before I switch to performance.
Nice.
But it looks really good.
It does. It really does.
Looks incredible, actually. Like, man, it makes me like want to play the other ones, but then I'm like, well, those ones are scarier than this, and I'm a big baby, so
yeah, like 4 I think is the perfect one for me, and that makes me nervous because I also bought RE8 and RE2 remake. I'm like, I don't know if I can do that.
RE2 is so scary. Like with Mr. X chasing you around, it's so like
that's anxiety, pure anxiety.
Yeah,
I hate
RE2
it. Like
Yeah, when they introduced that element into it, like it really ratcheted it up for me because I was like, man, like this, it was something that was not in the original game, so like it actually heightened the scare, the scare factor. And it was one of those, like I said earlier, like I hate dying in survival horror games and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
just hearing him, just
Oh,
trotting around,
so scary.
you know, and like and when you move, like he starts moving faster, so it's like he kind of knows where you're at and stuff. I was like, oh my god, come on,
You're like solving puzzles and shit, like while he's fucking like chasing you. And you're like, well, how is this?
yeah,
No, like just go away. And you can't really do
Stop.
anything about it.
And
Yeah.
Grayson, you're playing it now, right?
Yeah, so I was just gonna mention. So I'm a big Resident Evil 4 fan. Like I played the GameCube originally, and that's a game I tend to replay every 3-4 years. I think I played it
Nice.
on PS3. I think I played it on PS4. I think I played it on Wii too. Like that is one of my favorite. That's my favorite Resident Evil game, and probably like in my top 10 of favorite games of all time.
Nice.
And this remake does such a good job of like staying true to the regular game, but they have so many little changes here that are for the diehard fans, like things that new players, obviously aren't aware of, and even people who played the game once probably wouldn't remember. LeRon, I don't know if you played RE4 a lot, but like this happens in the beginning of the game, but they introduce a character called Lewis, and
Mhm.
the way
Yep.
they introduce him in the remake is slightly different than the original. He in the original game, he's like trapped in a wardrobe and he's kind of like tied up and like banging on the door. But in the remake,
yeah.
in the remake, you enter the house that he's in and you hear banging, but it ends up being an infected person. And then Lewis is like tied up in a body bag, and I remember that happening. I'm like, this is a really cool like fake out like for the fans. And once that happened, I'm like, oh, this is really cool. Like it's not like Final Fantasy VII remake terms of like reimagining, but they're doing things like that are like
It's
awesome
like-
and really
it's
like
similar with-
satisfying.
It's like what they did in the remake for Resident Evil 1, where like the dogs jump through the window in the PlayStation
Yeah.
version, and then they don't in the GameCube
Yeah.
version.
You expect it, and then it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You're like, wait, what is gonna happen? And
Yeah.
they're like, I don't know if I just don't remember, but there are areas that just feel completely brand new. The areas that I remember going through feel a little like remixed. Like enemies are in different places. There are new enemies. Like there are chainsaw ladies that chase you around, which I don't remember. Like you fight them pretty early on. I just got to like chapter 7, I think, which is you get to the castle. I'm not gonna like spoil it, but so I've played probably halfway through, I think maybe. But yeah, it's such a blast. Like this game has such good pacing too. I think which is why whenever I stop playing it, I immediately in my head just want to go back to playing it because it's like just like the progress you're going, like the progression just feels really good and natural. And I feel like there's such a good mix of intense situations and also like quiet moments to kind of like let you take a few breaths, and then it puts you right back into this really action-packed moment. And you're fumbling around, switching weapons, like you're parrying with your knife, you're slashing, you're kind of like, it gives you just enough ammo too, where like there are times when I run out of ammo almost. I'm like, I just have a handgun and nothing else, and I'm just gonna keep trying until I get to this area. And then sometimes you have like a shit ton of ammo, and you're like, oh, I'm just mowing everyone down. But God, it's such a good game.
In the original, can your knife break?
No,
Because
No. In the original, yeah, that's a thing they added to this game.
You
I
can
did
also
not like that.
you also can't parry in the original, and you can do it in this one, which is really fun to do. But
I just don't like the fact that my knife broke because I like my stealth
Yeah.
kills.
you find a lot though.
I know.
Yeah, you start to find a bunch, and you usually have the knife. Like if you look for stuff.
And that, and like if you pay attention, you find like a lot of those gems, and then you can what do you buy in merchant and have them fix it.
That's new. That's new too. So you can like you find these treasures, and you can just sell the treasures themselves. But you can like equip them with these gems, and they up the worth of the treasure, which is really cool. And they have like the cases or the attachments you can add to your case that like add little perks and stuff. And they really like upgraded the shooting range, I think. It sucks that they don't have Assignment Ada, which was like a separate campaign where you played as Ada after you beat the game. And you kind of got to play a few hours as her and see what she was doing while Leon was doing all this shit with Ashley. But they haven't like announced that or said that's coming. So that was kind of disappointing. But I think it'll come.
I feel like that's going to be DLC.
Yeah, I think it'll be a paid thing, maybe.
Yeah, like a $30 thing.
And I'm sure they'll rework that into something more grander too if it's like a paid thing. So that's kind of exciting, honestly. And the Mercenaries mode is coming as a free update too, which is kind of just like a arcade mode, which is actually really fun to do. But
yeah, I'm scared, but I'm excited to play more. I actually Game Informer did they had this video series called Replay and Super Replay, and they did one on Resident Evil 4 where they played through the whole game. And I was, before this game came out and I knew that they were doing this, I kind of watched some of that to like pick up tricks and strategies. I'm like, this isn't, I don't know why I'm even bothering watching this. This is gonna be so different. But like, I just remember them using the knife all the time instead of their bullets, because like you have to obviously ration your bullets. And I was like, oh well, I'll just slash everybody who's like, after they attack me and miss, I'll just run up to them and slash them or whatever. And then like the knives break in this one. I'm like, oh my gosh, dumb strategy. Shotgun works though.
Love the shotgun.
is so awesome.
Although it took like 6 shots to kill the cowhead guy with the hammer.
They're all bullet sponges, dude.
It takes so long to reload that shotgun until you upgrade it too. Like you're just like, hurry up, please.
Yeah. But
I'm glad you're enjoying it. Like for someone who doesn't really like horror games, it's
yeah. I mean, I see why people love this game. Who you know, especially from that time, right? It's a good time for GameCube games, though. To be fair,
yeah.
This year it seems. So I'm gonna continue playing it. I have to finish it now. I think it's only like 15 or so hours long.
Yeah, I think that sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a nice little ride.
I'll get there. So, all right. Well, I guess we could talk about Zelda now. I'm still like, man, I saw so many Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts memes this weekend after that, including the one that I made on my own. So I wanted to be part of the cool kids. So what did we think? Stephanie, I'm going to go your way first. Zelda.
Well, here's the funny part. I'm not going to be all rainbows and sunshines on it necessarily. Not that I'm going to go the other way too. So overall, I love the surprise part of it. I mean, it makes sense. I'm like, if they were going to pull any sort of mini director demo, it's going to be right after PAX, because they didn't do anything at PAX, so it makes sense, I guess. I was very hyped, very excited, finally ready for it. I'm going to say what everyone will say. They've made a good choice to make Breath of the Wild different enough, so to speak, from the 10 minutes that we saw, where they gave us an open world to explore in Breath of the Wild. So we're thinking, if that's already been explored, what can they do to make it new? And instead, and they have this, even though they have the Sky Islands, they're now allowing like a lot more crafting and experimentation. So I think game one's exploration, this one is now using your creative mind, which I'm not so good at, and I'm pretty sure we'll see a lot of penis rafts and stuff like that. But so that part is cool. I really liked it, and obviously I picked up on a lot of things that other people picked up, like the Zonai charge. So ding ding ding, Zonai is part of Tears of the Kingdom. No story elements, not that I was expecting it. I think the reason why I'm not as hyped as I thought I would be is because, I don't know, even though I feel like I'm about to contradict myself, even though I saw brand new mechanics to differentiate itself from Breath of the Wild, I still felt like I saw Breath of the Wild, but just, instead of a Sheikah slate, here's his hand that we still know nothing about, except it's
He has
Zonai
long
related.
hair now too, though.
It's a caveman.
I don't know. So that's why I personally feel mixed. But again, that's not me, because I want to criticize anyone or anything. I'm glad we have it. I'm glad they did it. I already pre-ordered my OLED, which I know LeRon's going to complain about in a minute. I'm still very excited to play it. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm more of a story person. I'm attracted to games for their narrative. For a demo that showed no narrative, I think that's kind of what left me feeling a bit empty. But that's not to say that I was disappointed, though. So I'll start there.
I wonder if telling any of this narrative would spoil anything.
It probably
right.
would.
And I think they're trying to keep that mystery. I mean, not that like not that Nintendo tells the greatest stories, especially in 2023 compared to a lot of other games, but I think they really tried with Breath of the Wild, and I think the memory stuff was told a pretty good story, and like there's a lot of little stories scattered throughout the world, right? And then you kind of had to piece it together, and I wonder if Nintendo's going to take another step forward in their storytelling with this, and them not showing any of the story. I'm just wondering how much. I wonder how much of that opening or beginning of the story or something
It'll
like
be drastic. Yeah.
yeah, I wonder how much it changes what we think is going to happen or something, right? And I think focusing on the mechanics is smart if you don't want to spoil what's going to happen, because
Right.
they did originally say that the title of the game is going to spoil the game. And so I
Yeah.
wonder, man, I almost wonder if something like really terrible happens at the beginning of this game. Like, what if Zelda dies? Like I'm to that level of shock.
Exactly. That's why like I'm not necessarily criticizing. I'm like
Hmm.
it really must be significant, or at least it better be. So
Yeah.
and also I just know myself. I'm not a creative person. People got really creative with Breath of the Wild with how they solve things, and now you can like make whatever you want. I'm not one of those people that's gonna make like this fantastical, cool,
Mhm.
creative thing. I'm just gonna like glue two logs together and use that to sail across the river.
Hmm.
But again, that's a me problem, not a Breath of the Tears of the Kingdom problem.
Yeah. Plus, I wonder how much like people can get they're going to do the typical Nintendo thing, right? Where like you can get as deep as you want with this creative stuff, or you can just build the most basic
Mhm.
vehicle or flying machine or something and get by, right? Like I'm totally counting on that too, you know, because like you could totally make like a airship or something out of that, and it'd be totally cool. Or you can just, like you said, glue two logs together and put one of those fans on the bottom, and you can fly straight up or whatever.
Yeah, well, one of the things that he made was a raft, but the wheels on the end. I'm like, what's that for? Instead of going forward, he like flew up. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so cool.
Yeah. I do want to say the most impressive thing to me in this demo was the seamless transition of Link diving from the sky to the ground.
Yes,
Yeah.
good
It
point.
Very
was
impressive.
totally seamless on this device that has, let's face it, basically 10 to 15-year-old technology inside of it.
It's good iPad
Yeah.
first
Yeah,
generation.
how would
Like,
you wonder that's I'm a little surprised. Like I didn't even think about that, Corey, but you're right because that covers a lot of distance, and it was the
Yeah.
whole time he went from sky to river, which if any person did that in real life, their head would split open in impact. But anyway,
Yeah.
no fall
Yeah.
damage.
And, I'm wondering how they're doing that, because like I was listening to a podcast today, and Dave Lang, the CEO of Iron Galaxy,
Mm.
was on, and they did the port. They've done a couple Switch ports, including the complete port of Skyrim over to the Switch. And he was talking about its power levels and just how the Switch runs and everything. And it's somewhere in between an Xbox 360 and an Xbox One is the power level.
Wow.
So like, it's not even as powerful as an Xbox One, which I think we kind of knew that already, but we just wanted to assume that maybe it was as powerful as a PS4 or something at one point. But like that power level is so it's so small. Like how do you get that transition? And they already said, Tears of the Kingdom is the biggest game Nintendo's ever made, and it's like, well, I'm curious from a technological standpoint how this game's going to run, because like the footage they showed, pretty smooth,
yeah.
pretty good looking. Like I don't know if it was running at 60 frames or not. I know one of the trailers, Digital Foundry, said it was running at 60, but I'm kind of hoping for a smooth 30 at least.
We'll see how the fire looks. When you
Yeah.
burn a field of grass around you and see if the game just like stutters
Yes.
like to a
Yeah.
halt.
Yeah. Oh
In
my
one
gosh.
sense, about back to the crafting real quick, not about crafting rafts and shit, but more of the weapon the fact that
Fusion.
he's like, oh, what if you put a leaf on an arrow and then you add an ice element, then you freeze the enemy, or the
That's
key
cool.
ball that hones in. I'm like, that was their answer, right, Corey, to their weapon durability issue.
Yeah.
Freaking put a rock on a stick, and all of a sudden you can now beat the crap out of enemies. It'll last longer.
That blew my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, this fuse thing looks pretty cool. Like I wonder how weird you can get with it, and like it looks like you can pretty much attach anything to anything at this point.
Yeah, and if they have an actual like specific thing for all of those materials, like the meat and all these choo-choo jellies and all this different, if every single thing has like a specific, like that's crazy. Like if they pull that off, and you don't end up with like some repeat ones or ones that are similar to each other or something. Like if they have an actual use, like every single one for different situations, that's gonna be a game changer.
Dude, Aonuma put a freaking mushroom on a shield.
Yeah,
and
that
it
was
turned
awesome.
into, like, I was like, wow.
That was awesome.
That I'm excited for. That was a good move.
Yeah, I wonder if they are going to have some sort of crafting, like durability crafting in this too. Like I know they haven't really mentioned it, but like that's like the one thing I think, because that was like my biggest problem with Breath of the Wild, aside from like the lack of traditional dungeons. But was like the durability issue was like, man, yeah, these amiibo, when they drop the giant boxes out of the sky, those really help giving me weapons and stuff. But like when one breaks, like I really wish you could like craft weapons to, just have one that's pretty durable or almost invincible, and or like if one starts to get weak, you can apply some materials to it aside from fusing it to something to like make it more durable or fix the broken weapon or something, almost like a very elaborate way of fixing the big Goron sword from Ocarina of Time, right? Like, I don't know. I think that would be cool, especially if you like have to go to the Goron mines or something, and like you can forge weapons in the Goron mine or something. That'd be super cool. But
yeah,
I do think the fuse mechanic is cool.
Yeah, it really is. I think that's the only thing you're going to be able to do with weapons, honestly. Because I think that's just them. Okay, like for the people who don't like the weapon degradation, this is for you guys, and that's it. You can, if your sword's about to break that you really like, just attach it to a stick or rock, and that's your new weapon. That's like their way to go in the middle instead of like going on one side or the other. But we'll see. Maybe they'll have some more in-depth crafting thing where if you really want a weapon to be like fixed and not fuse with something else, you can do it. But I guess we'll see.
Yeah, my other solution was like, what if you had quote unquote traditional dungeons that gave you like an unbreakable boomerang or shield or sword or something? That was my other idea, but
yeah,
doesn't look like we're getting traditional dungeons in this game either. Although, like, again, we don't know. We've seen maybe 15 minutes of this game total. So
yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I think they're showing so little because they're hiding something. Like I think the gameplay we've been watching is like the beginning of the game, and I think there's got to be some sort of underground whole area you get to explore, because I think that's the main reason they gave you that ascend ability. I don't think it's just for you can get to the top of this cliff from a cave. I think it's like you're underground and you're gonna want an easy way to get back up to Hyrule. That's what's been going through my head. And also dungeons are going to be in there, like actual puzzle dungeons. So you'll use those. You use the ascend skill to like solve puzzles in dungeons. I think, like, imagine being in a lower level in a dungeon. You have to go to like B1 from B2 and you're like going underground. It's just like stuff like that. I think could be really cool for puzzles. I don't know. I think that's why they're not showing much. It's like they have something in this game that they're going to keep a secret as long as they can.
Yeah.
And just hopefully blow everyone away.
Yeah, because I was listening to the Zelda cast, and at one point they're theorizing how are people going to be able to get up to the sky? So now Aonuma showed probably one of the primary ways of getting to the Sky Islands is using the rewind ability from the things that were falling. That does not answer what else we see in the trailers, those green spirals that are dotted throughout Hyrule. So now, I mean, I guess, that's probably not a mechanic to get to the sky because it's the rewind ability. So what are those spirals for?
We also don't see shrines ever. Like when you see him diving from the top, you don't see one shrine. They haven't shown a single puzzle. Like,
yeah.
Yep.
Like I've heard rumor, like people theories that say like we're gonna be pulling together the islands to form together, like bringing the islands back to the regular mainland or something. Like that's like the puzzle. Like the whole world is gonna be like this big puzzle, which sounds crazy. Like, but if they can pull something like that off, I'm like,
oh my gosh, that's
I
gonna
don't
be
know.
insane.
It just blows my mind.
Yeah.
I hope
It's
we're not
so
just like raising our expectations and the game is just literally what they showed and then that's it. It's like, well,
Yeah.
It's
I
so
don't know.
crazy that Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are have been directed by the Skyward Sword director, which is like, oh my gosh, this game's like the worst, and then you gave us the best.
Yeah.
Like, man, I mean, oh, man, I need to finish Skyward Sword at some point. I just
But you could totally
don't have.
see like play Skyward Sword and see all the, you know, the
Yeah.
stamina meter, all that stuff definitely was
Yeah.
like the beginning of the open world thing, which is so cool
Yeah,
when you think about it.
Yeah,
But it's still
and
so
like
different.
I wonder how close the Sky Islands are going to be to the the Sky Islands and Skyward Sword too. Like I wonder if you're going to be able to see like how you can see like Lon Lon Ranch from Ocarina of Time or
Yeah.
some places from Twilight Princess. I wonder if you're going to be able to see like
the Academy or something, or like some
yeah,
ruins, or that would be cool.
yeah, yeah, that'd be super cool. Maybe Groose is hanging out up there.
You could see some like like remains of bones of those birds that they flew around on, whatever they're called.
Yeah, maybe you
The
can
loft
use
wings.
Loft wings.
maybe you can fuse the bones together and
Or bring them back to
my
life
gosh.
as like a ghost. Like the skeleton. They have like skeletons, right? In Breath of the
Yeah.
Wild, you can.
yeah. Why
Hey,
not?
I'm
We're
looking
just
forward to fighting the
creating Skyward Sword
Redeads.
too.
Yeah.
But I think this
Ah.
demo was kind of, very much needed because we're at the end of March now.
Yeah.
Like
It's
6
go
weeks, I
time.
think, right?
Yeah, just about.
It's crazy.
I'm just saying my Disney Dreamlight Valley farm is going to be
The roaches.
for a while.
So
Sorry,
Tears of the
Olaf, I'm never
Kingdom.
gonna find your arms.
Tears of the Kingdom will finally be the game that takes you away from Disney Dreamlight Valley.
Oh man, I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting for Zelda now, and like, I I was excited, but now that like it's done, it's here. I'm waiting for Amazon to post the controller for pre-order. Like I'm waiting for all these certain things and just seeing it and them talking about it. And I've also been running around playing Breath of the Wild also to get myself refamiliar with the controls and the world and the way things work. I've just been running around doing dumb stuff in Breath of the Wild, and I'm like, man, I'm so ready for this.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope they address some of the issues I had, but if not, I'm gonna play it anyway because it is a great video game, and that's my rant. But yeah, also I think I'm gonna try to finish Link's Awakening before that too.
I just wish I wasn't in industry sometimes because I just want to play this game and not know anything else about it. Like I would block the words on Twitter and just like go media blackout so I could just experience the game and not know what the story is about, not know what the big twist is or something. Because I'm gonna have to know, like just for work, everything about it. So
I wonder if they're gonna have that thing where you can go straight to the end too, like the first one.
like the first game they'll have. Yeah, I wonder.
They probably are going to, right? I mean, that kind of seems like the big draw of these games is like you can play however you want. You can fight a lion with a stick. Good luck.
I wanted to do the same exact thing though, like where you have to fight. Like, you can fight these bosses and they'll bring down the health of the final boss. I don't know if they'll copy it, but maybe there'll be some similar thing you're doing, I guess. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe. Or maybe you get like some sort of not ability, but like some sort of weapon that can take off chunks of armor easily or something. Like what if the boss is armored and each weapon you get from whatever the equivalent of the divine beasts are gives you that unbreakable weapon that I keep talking about, and you can use it against, to take them down or chop off some armor or set them on fire. I don't know, something.
This is something I might want to bring back here. Maybe once we start getting into that game, is kind of wondering about Zelda's future because as much as I do like this style, I would like to see another new 2D Zelda again or an Ocarina of Time like game. But now that we're getting older and we're welcoming a new generation of gamers, a lot of people are starting to say that Breath of the Wild is going to be their first Zelda game. And it's just how things are with any facet of life. If people are used to Breath of the Wild as what Zelda is for their identity, I'm not sure if those same people are going to want to see a 2D Zelda game and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think you got to kind of really structure them into three pillars now, right? You have your 2D Zelda games, and then you have your quote unquote traditional 3D Zelda games, which would be like Ocarina, Twilight, Wind Waker, and then you have your open world Zeldas like Breath of the Wild and
Yeah.
the Kingdom. I don't think we've seen the end of a traditional 3D or 2D Zelda game, right? I don't. I mean, look at the success of Link's Awakening. Yeah, it was a remake, but like I think people really enjoyed that for what it was, aside from the like 20 people who complained that it was $60. I think people really enjoyed that experience, and I think people are clamoring for more 2D Zelda because I think 2D Zelda is still, especially with the rise of like indie games that are still trying to do the same thing, right? Like how many times do we say Metroidvania like or Zelda like when we're talking about an indie game, right? And I think Nintendo would be kind of, I don't want to say dumb to ignore it, but I think they've got to see that style of game is still popular, especially now. And you attach Zelda to that, you know. I mean, look how popular Cadence of Hyrule was. That's almost a 2D Zelda, like it's a rhythm 2D Zelda game, right? I mean, people loved it. So,
yeah. Well, I definitely hope I'm wrong. That's for sure.
Yeah. We'll see, I guess. I still hope we get some sort of, I think they need to finish bringing a lot of those games over to the Switch or whatever's next at some point. Man, that's another conversation I'm not ready to have, but new Nintendo system.
Are you guys okay with there being? I mean, there's gonna be another trailer, but do you want another trailer before the game comes out?
Yeah. I mean, I'll watch it. Like I'm not
Yeah.
one of those people who are like, oh, new trailer, blackout, I can't watch it. But you know,
Yeah, I'd be okay with the new trailer because knowing Nintendo, if they do release one, they still won't spoil it. Like if they've
Yeah.
gone this far, not
Yeah.
spoiling it, they're not going to release another trailer too. I think I wouldn't mind it just because that 2017 Breath of the Wild trailer, that will still give me goosebumps if I watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can hear the music, the music now, and Zelda crying and stuff. All that crazy emotional.
Exactly. So I'll say this: like, I don't think I need it, but if they do it, I'll watch it.
Yeah. I'll definitely watch it.
Same.
I still like get chills when I see that initial 2014 reveal of Zelda.
Oh.
Man, of the Guardian chasing Link on the horse, him jumping off. The reveal of
And
the
people
Guardian
thought he was a
opening.
girl for the longest time.
Yeah, some people even were like, is that even Link? Is that a new character?
Yeah.
I'm like, come on.
I'm like, y'all are crazy. Like,
yeah. Oh no, his hair's in a ponytail this time. New character, girl. Weirdos. Anyways,
yeah.
I think that's gonna do it. I think we're gonna wrap it up.
See, look at that. I didn't even rant about the OLED Switch.
Do you want to have a? I think it's ugly personally. I think
no.
that
I was letting you guys have your moment. That's all.
You can.
Here's what I'm gonna say, because like Stephanie, I asked you what, yesterday or the day before. I was like, oh, Stephanie, is there any chance like I might get your OLED Switch off of you? You know, I'd buy it from you and stuff like that. And you're like, no, you're gonna retire your OG Switch. And it just made me just realize, I was like, man, this is why the Switch is going to be the top selling console of all time. It's probably going to be top selling video game console for generations to come, because like I guarantee you, this is like somebody's 8th Nintendo Switch they bought in the lifespan of the console. You know, it's insane.
It's like the only home console that people have multiple in their house, basically, because people don't want 3 PS5s. You know, people want like a lot of Switches. Like I bought like 5 Switches probably.
Yeah. And it's the insanity, because like these are the same people that will, in the space of a breath, say like, "Oh, I can't. A PS5 or an Xbox Series X is too expensive." You motherfucker! You got 7 Nintendo Switches. You could have bought 3 of those consoles with all that money you spent.
Yeah, it's
not lying.
Nintendo fans are nuts, especially when it comes to Zelda.
To be fair, that Nintendo Switch Day 1 is my son's now, and it sounds like an airplane's taking off every time he plays it. And the Switch stand is broken, and 2 of the Joy-Cons are broken. So
Okay,
again,
now you see that makes logical sense. That makes logical sense. I'm talking about Herp Dirt Jimmy over here who has no wife, no kids. He has a pet squirrel in a cage and stuff, and he has a Switch, OLED, a Switch Lite, and he has at least 2 of the special edition ones.
yeah,
Like
Jimmy.
10 Joy-Cons
what
that
are
are
you
like
doing?
fucked up.
Oh yeah, every single one drifts. Every single Joy-Con drifts.
The right and the left.
No, it's I don't even want to complain about it. It's crazy as dumb, but these are the same people who are like, well, I can't afford a PlayStation 5. I was like, bitch, if you go to GameStop and pawn off 4 of those Switches, you got a PS5.
Yeah.
Good point, though.
I would have bought this Zelda one, but I just bought my OLED last year. It's like pretty. I think it was Splatoon.
Yeah, I just want
came out.
a basic OLED, but I am waiting my best to for this thing to basically fall off the wheels. And Corey, I don't know what was going on. You remember last year I was having so many problems with the dock. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
It's like this motherfucker up and fixed itself. I haven't had a single problem. Like anytime I want to play Metroid Prime, I haven't had a problem.
I will say one more thing too. There are a couple people that have come to me and asked, like, should I get this? Because I feel like the next generation of the Switch is around the corner. Like I feel like because some people they don't want to buy this and say next year the new thing comes out. Like I get it.
Yeah. I've heard.
Well, why are you wrestling with
2025? Is what I've heard.
It's insanity because why are you wrestling with yourself about it? Like if you think the new system's coming, okay, so here's take it from a gamer. If you think the new system's coming, at least you have fodder to say I can trade in to pay for the next system.
True. Yeah.
Like it shouldn't be that hard. But also in retrospect, if you believe that the replacement's coming, why spend the money now?
Why not spend the money now?
Because it's like a large library of games. I would totally recommend someone picking up a Switch now. Like, why not?
Yeah.
Well, I would, but that's if you do not have a Switch right now.
Oh yeah. If you never owned a Switch, but if
you turn around, look in someone's bookcase, and you see every color from every Nintendo Switch. Corey, how many editions of the Nintendo Switch have been released? You know this.
Oh God,
you know this.
Yeah.
You know this.
So there's the launch Switch, the revision of the launch Switch. There's the Switch Lite. So there's 7 versions of the Switch Lite.
Like the colors.
There's
because of all the colors. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's the OLED Switch. There's 2 versions of the OLED Switch.
Mm-hmm.
There's the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and Splatoon versions.
And now we got the Zelda one coming.
And then the Monster Hunter one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I forgot.
I found the Monster Hunter one for MSRP. I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
Yeah.
The only reason why I would want it is because of the Joy-Cons. I don't care about the stupid looking dock.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Monster Hunter one.
I wish they would sell the Joy-Cons or the dock separate.
Exactly. I just want the Joy-Cons.
Not that
the Zelda one, I actually really, really love the dock design. I think it's really cool looking. But I don't really like the Joy-Cons or like the Pro Controller or anything.
I know the Joy-Cons are ugly. The Joy-Cons are what makes it so
I don't like
ugly.
when the Pro Controllers have like different colored bottom the parts. Like when it's black and I don't know, they always look off to me. I don't know if it's like the shape of the Pro Controller or something, but
yeah.
I'll be honest with you guys, I've always had a problem with almost all those Pro Controllers. Like they never quite hit the mark for what for what they're trying to promote, if that makes any sense.
It looks like a kid's toy sometimes. Like a Fisher Price,
the 2 Monster Hunter one.
I hate I hate the D-pad on the Pro Controllers.
Yeah, it's not good.
The only Pro Controller I think feels good is the Xenoblade one. And even though I've bought 2 special edition ones since the Xenoblade one, I still use the Xenoblade one because it feels the best.
Is it different from the regular Pro Controller?
Yeah, they actually redesigned how the D-pad functions in the Xenoblade one in the special edition ones. And I haven't bought just a plain Pro Controller since then, but if you play with the Xenoblade one and then you play with the basic black one, like there is a difference in the D-pad. And it's very
Oh, for real?
noticeable. And I'm not somebody who like really cares about that stuff because I have like 75 different controllers for all these stupid consoles we have, and like I don't know, D-pad, whatever. But like, man, the D-pad on these pro controllers sucks. I'm still getting the Zelda one though, so whatever. It'll just sit on the shelf next to my Splatoon one and my Smash one. So. Anyways, we're getting out of here now. I want to thank you, Greysun, for gracing us with your presence this evening. You want to tell people where they can find you?
Yeah, sure. Anyone can find me on Twitter at Greysun Morales. You could also find my work over at GameRant.com. We write a lot of guides there. I've been doing a lot of like Resident Evil 4 stuff lately, like the past week or so. I've been covering a lot of Pokemon Go lately, so it's been a lot of fun. And a lot of other mobile stuff like Mighty Doom and random stuff like that. Yeah, that's me. I'm pretty much primarily on Twitter for social media. I'm not using Instagram or Facebook or whatever. So yeah.
Cool. Well, you're welcome here anytime. We love having you.
Yes, thanks for having me.
You're one of our favorite people to have here. So
shucks.
Open seat anywhere on any of our podcasts. You know that.
Resident Evil Book Club.
Yeah. Resident Evil Book Club.
I can come on an episode.
Great idea, Stephanie. All right. Well, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you, Stephanie and LeRon, for your time as well.
Bye.
Always a pleasure.
I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening to this episode of the Boss Rush Podcast. And until next time, we love you. Goodbye.
We love you. Bye.
Take care.
The Boss Rush Podcast is a product of Boss Rush Media, LLC, and is recorded from our headquarters in Akron, Ohio. This show is produced, written, and directed by me, Corey Dirrig. My co-hosts are Stephanie Klimov, LeRon Dawkins, and Edward Varnell. You can find Stephanie at Klimov_author on Twitter and Instagram, as well as on the EXPcast. You can find LeRon at Exodus803 on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube, and also on Crossroads, the video game podcast. You can find Edward at ThatRetroCode on Twitter and Instagram, as well as hosting Nintendo Powerblock. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at IamCoreyInHD, and find me hosting Tower Casuals, the Destiny podcast, and co-hosting Nintendo Powerblock. Find the Boss Rush Podcast on all social media platforms at Boss Rush Podcast. You can also follow Boss Rush Media and Boss Rush Network on all major social media platforms. Join the Boss Rush Network Discord and Facebook groups to interact with other friends and fans. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.